Oh, it's getting hot and my edges are messing up. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be discussing apartment hunting. Now, I have been apartment hunting for about a month now. That is literally all I did for the entire month of November. And over this last month, I would say I learned quite a few different things that I want to discuss in this video. So if you are a beginner and you're thinking about moving out, you're thinking about moving out on your own by yourself, and you are about to begin your apartment hunting journey, then just keep on watching. But if you have not already, please subscribe and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Now, let's hop into it. Tip number one is something that I feel like we already know, right? If you are going to be moving out, it is very important that you save or have money saved up. Now, here's the thing. I feel like when it comes to apartment hunting, a lot of people always think about saving as in saving money for furniture or saving money for moving costs, like the movers and things like that. But I think people tend to forget about the applying process itself costs a lot of money. I know I certainly forgot all about that, but saving also involves like saving money for your administration fees, saving money for your application fees, saving money for your security deposit, because that stuff can add up rather quickly. Now, don't be like me, okay? I knew that those things cost money, but I just completely forgot about them. But as I was viewing different apartments and seeing different prices, I was like, oh crap. Did I factor this into my budget? No, I did not. Okay, so remember, if you are saving, you also need to save for the application process and things like that. Another important reason why you need to save is because let's say you do find an apartment that you really like and you pay for the application fees and you pay for the administration fees, and let's say you don't even get approved, which means you have to go to a whole different apartment and pay those fees all over again. Application fees can cost from anywhere between $35 to $100. Same with administration fees. It can cost from like $200 to, I would say, like $400, depending on the property. And then don't even get me started on security deposits, okay? Because they will break your motherfucking bank, all right? Also, that's another thing. I'm trying my hardest not to curse anymore in these videos. I don't like it, but whatever. So again, you want to have money saved up for furniture, money saved up for moving costs, and then just money saved up for things like that in general. All right, tip number two. So if you are in the apartment hunting process, it can be very overwhelming, especially if you live in a big city like I do. I stay in Houston, and there's just so many different areas and neighborhoods and things like that to consider. So it can be very overwhelming. That's why it is very important to utilize your resources like apartmentlist.com, apartments.com, and Zillow. Now, if you don't think you can do it by yourself, there are a lot of companies that will help you find apartments. Like I know in Houston, there's a really big one called Smart City Houston, where they kind of like, it's like an apartment locator type company. Is that how you say it? I guess apartment locating. Yeah, it's an apartment locating company. So they will like help you kind of like work with realtors, I guess, and they will kind of help you find an apartment. If I'm not mistaken, I do think their service to you is free. I'm not really sure how to get paid. I want to say they get paid like through the apartments that they find or through the apartment that you end up leasing with, but again, I have no idea. But if you don't feel confident in doing it yourself, you can always look into things like that. But if you do want to do it yourself, kind of like I did, again, Apartment List, Zillow, apartments.com are really helpful. One of the reasons why I like working with a website like Zillow is because it allows you to kind of tailor your search to whatever you want specifically. I know in Zillow you kind of can put like the specific area that you want to live in. You can also set your rent, like the range you want your rent to be. You can also go through and kind of put like if you want an in-unit washer and dryer, if you want a gym, if you want a pool, things like that. Now, I will say, please be mindful because the prices on Zillow do not always match the website, which actually leads me into tip number three. If you are going to be using a site like Zillow or apartments.com, once you finish finding an apartment on Zillow, I highly recommend going to the apartments complex website itself and just searching the prices as well, because a lot of the times the prices that they have on Zillow are usually just like promotions and specials that they have running. But the thing about specials and promotions is that they don't always run year round. So a special that you might see one week might be different the next. So that's why I always just go through, once I find an apartment, I always just go to that apartment's website and just kind of check their prices and still see if it's still within my range. Because to be honest, truthfully, it's not going to be. You might see a price that's really good on Zillow, and then you go to the website and then you see different prices that are completely different. And honestly, if I have to be completely honest with you, most likely complexes are usually going to honor like their own prices, not like Zillow, because again, like those are just specials and deals they running. And yes, it's true, they might have ran that deal, or you know, the deal doesn't last forever is what I'm trying to say. Like, just make sure you also go back and just check with the website itself. I feel like that will give you a more better general idea of how much a floor plan is going to cost versus on Zillow, because again, like it changes constantly. So just be mindful of that. Don't just get set on one price on Zillow, because it changes often. My third tip is please go view the apartments in person. Now, obviously, if you are moving to a different state or a different city, that might be very difficult. And if you can't view the apartments in person, please make sure you are still in contact with someone that works there so you can kind of go back and forth with different things. And the reason being is because when I would go online, right? So let's say I found an apartment on Zillow that I really liked, and then I would go online and I would kind of like check the prices, things like that. And let's say it's still within my price budget. A lot of times online, what they will do is you'll kind of view a floor plan and then they'll give you a range. Like, this floor plan is between this price and this price, right? And then I'll go online and then I'll look at the pictures. I'm like, okay, yes, the pictures look nice. The pictures look good. And then when I get there in person to view the apartment, it turns out that usually the prices that I was viewing was for their classic plan, which is usually like their older style. And then the pictures that I was seeing on the website was more so for their or like renovated style. Now, this doesn't go for all apartments. This usually goes for apartments that have been renovated. But for me personally, I just found that when I was in my search that a lot of the apartments that I was looking at were just newly renovated. So I would constantly run into that problem. So just make sure you go, because again, like the prices you see online may not be how it is in reality. Like I don't think they mean to do that on purpose, but I mean, like, obviously they're gonna put the cheaper price with like nicer pictures, if you know what I mean. So just make sure you view the apartments in person, and then also you can kind of just get a feel for it if you can see yourself living there. There were apartments that I thought were gorgeous online, and then as soon as I walked inside, I was like, maybe it was much smaller than I had thought, or maybe like the colors didn't look good, or it is what it is, you know. Just make sure you're able just to see it in person. That way you can get a feel for it. Also, another thing to be mindful of, a lot of the times when apartment hunting, people want wood floors, right? Because they're easy to clean, they look really nice, things like that. But what I have learned is that a lot of the times, unless you're looking at a high-rise or some type of luxury apartment, then this doesn't really apply to you. But if you're just looking at a regular apartment, a lot of the times only the first floor has wood flooring. And because it's the first floor and because it has wood flooring, it often costs more. So keep that in mind when you're apartment hunting. And then for tip number 5, just know that they are always doing deals at apartment complexes. Whether it is 1 month free, 2 months free, an application fee is waived, or administration fee is waived, they are always doing deals. So please do not be afraid to ask. Also, if a really good deal is going on, do not feel obligated to sign right then and there, because again, like, they will always have deals. And in my experience, I feel like the friendlier you are to the leasing agent, the better. So for example, like for me personally, let's say I learned about a really good deal, but let's say I really made a good connection with that leasing agent. Like last week, I called some girl and like asking her about something, and mind you, I saw the apartment like 3 weeks ago, and she was still willing to honor that deal because I was so friendly and because I was so nice and because we were actually like really talking. So again, the friendlier, the better. That is not the case for everyone. I'm just saying from personal experience, like the friendlier, the better. Again, don't be afraid to ask for deals. And this actually leads me into my last tip. Please don't be afraid to also ask questions, because it is very important. Like, this is going to be your home. So obviously if there's things that you want to know about or things that you may be worried about, you need to ask questions. Again, it really just depends, because some leasing agents are really friendly and they're telling you more than what you need to know. And then there are other ones that are a little more reserved, and you kind of have to ask questions to get information out of them. So do not be afraid to ask questions. Like, it is their job to provide you with answers. Like, at the end of the day, they're trying to sell you this apartment. So if you have questions, again, don't be afraid to ask them. But that is going to be all the tips that I have for you today. I will keep you guys updated on this journey, because it has been a very long one, an exciting one, but a very long one. So again, if you have not already, please subscribe. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys soon.